My name is Amy. 6 months ago, I walked out of a hospital room while my entire family stood behind me believing I was capable of something I would never do. Today, I stand in my own garden. The difference between those two moments is not time. It is awakening. I grew up in a wealthy suburb outside New York City. From the outside, our house looked like something out of a magazine: white columns, perfectly trimmed hedges, dinner parties with crystal glasses and curated laughter. Inside, it was a courtroom. My father, Henry, was a powerful stockbroker. He believed life was a competition and love was conditional. Success meant worth. Failure meant weakness. Emotions were liabilities. My mother, Victoria, once a model, dedicated herself to maintaining what she called presentation. She didn't raise daughters. She managed assets. We were extensions of her image. My older sister, Isabella, was the golden child. Everything she did shimmered in my parents' eyes. Her piano recitals were events. Her college acceptance was a celebration that lasted weeks. My younger sister, Lily, was the fragile one, or at least she played the part perfectly. She knew exactly when to cry, when to tremble, when to look small. And in our house, the smallest voice somehow controlled the loudest reactions. And me. I was the absorber. If tension filled the room, it was because of me. If something broke, I must have done it. If anyone felt uncomfortable, I was too sensitive, too intense, too different. When Isabella once broke my mother's antique vase and calmly said, "Amy did it," I watched something powerful happen. No one questioned her. They didn't even look confused. They looked relieved. Relieved that the system could stay intact. Relieved that blame had found its home. That was the day I understood my role. As I grew older, I stopped fighting for approval. Instead, I studied the system. I worked hard in school, not for validation, but because knowledge gave me space to breathe. I earned a PhD in sociology. My research focused on family scapegoating, how one member unconsciously carries the projected flaws of the entire unit, so others don't have to confront themselves. My professors called my work groundbreaking. My father called it useless psychology. When I was invited to present internationally, he told me I should prioritize marriage over theories. Still, I kept trying to maintain peace. Holidays, family dinners, carefully chosen words, measured responses. Until the beach house. That summer felt different from the start. There was tension under the surface. I brought my boyfriend, Ethan, believing he understood complexity. He was an academic, rational, logical. On the third night, I saw Lily leaning too close to him on the porch. Her laugh was softer than usual, intentional. When I confronted her privately, she smiled slowly and said, "You're imagining things again." That word again. The next morning, a scream tore through the house. I ran toward the staircase and saw Lily at the bottom, crying, holding her wrist. She looked up at everyone and said, "Amy pushed me." There was no hesitation in her voice. And there was no hesitation in their belief. My father's face hardened. My mother gasped dramatically. Isabella wrapped her arms around Lily like a hero rescuing a victim. No one asked where I had been. No one asked for evidence. At the hospital, I stood near the doorway while they surrounded Lily's bed. Doctors said her injuries were minor, but the emotional performance was grand. My father turned to me and said quietly, "You've always been unstable." That sentence didn't break me. It freed me. I realized I could spend my entire life trying to defend myself in a narrative already written. Or I could exit the story. I walked out of that hospital room without raising my voice. Silence can be louder than screaming. Back at the beach house, I packed my things. While emptying my old closet, I found my childhood diary. Pages filled with entries that read like field research notes of my own life. Patterns. Blame. Isolation. Gaslighting. Then I found a sealed envelope in my grandmother's handwriting. She had passed away years earlier. In the letter, She wrote that she had always seen how I was treated. She apologized for not intervening more forcefully, and she revealed something my parents had hidden. She had created a legally protected trust fund in my name, structured independently, activated when I turned 30. I had turned 30 that spring. The next morning, I contacted the attorney listed in the letter. It was real, not controlled by my father, not accessible to my mother, not connected to family inheritance. Financial independence is not about luxury. It is about leverage. Within days, I retained my own legal counsel, quietly, strategically. When messages from my family began flooding in accusations, threats, emotional manipulation, my attorney responded formally. A documented denial of all allegations. A notice that any further defamatory statements would result in legal action. A clear boundary. I was choosing separation. When people who rely on emotional chaos receive structured legal language, they become disoriented. My father called once after receiving the letter. His voice was controlled but strained. He said I was overreacting. I calmly told him all future communication must go through counsel. That was the first time in my life he had nothing to say. Ethan eventually called too. He said he loved me but didn't want involvement in family drama. I realized something profound in that moment. Love that retreats in the face of truth is not love. It is convenience. I let him go. I moved into a modest apartment. I began therapy consistently. For the first time, I wasn't defending myself. I was understanding myself. I accepted a research position at a university and began publishing more openly about scapegoating dynamics. My work gained traction. Invitations to speak followed. And then something unexpected happened. My father attempted to circulate a narrative within extended family that I had attacked Lily and abandoned them. My attorney responded again, this time with a formal cease and desist, citing defamation laws and documentation of hospital reports indicating no evidence of assault. The rumors stopped. Control without evidence collapses under documentation. 6 months later, I received an email from Isabella. It was different from anything she had ever written. She admitted that my absence had destabilized the family system. Without a scapegoat, tensions surfaced. Arguments increased. Lily's manipulations became more visible. She apologized. Not dramatically. Honestly. We met in a neutral cafe. I listened more than I spoke. When I did speak, I set terms clearly. Any future relationship required acknowledgement of past harm. No rewriting history. No triangulation. No secrets. She agreed. Reconciliation is not surrender. It is negotiation from strength. Today I own this home, legally, independently, quietly. My research is cited internationally. My father no longer contacts me recklessly. He understands there are legal consequences now. Lily remains silent, and that is fine. Not everyone evolves. As I stand in this garden, I don't feel revenge. I feel alignment. The greatest domination is not humiliating those who hurt you. It is removing yourself from the role they assigned you and building something stronger without them. I was never unstable. I was aware. I was never dramatic. I was honest in a system built on denial. If you have ever been labeled the black sheep, the difficult one, the problem, understand this. Sometimes the problem is the one who sees clearly. Break the pattern. Document the truth. Set boundaries. Choose structure over chaos. And if this story gave you clarity, strength, or courage, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that walking away can be the most powerful move of all.